only by competence, but also character. Public confidence in Parliament depends greatly on the conduct of its members. As we discuss ethics, integrity, and leadership during this retreat, let us remember that these principles must guide our daily conduct, both inside and outside Parliament. We owe Ugandans honesty, accountability, and exemplary leadership. Communication is equally important quality. Our constituents deserve to know what we are doing on their behalf. We must therefore communicate consistently, factually, and responsibly through our engagements with communities, traditional media, and digital platforms. When citizens understand our work, public participation in governance is strengthened. As we begin this retreat, I encourage each one of us to value for the 12th Parliament booklet, which I'm sure each of you have gotten a copy of. No. You should. A second. So I'd like to introduce to you the opposition legislative priorities for the 12th Parliament. This year is a roadmap that will guide our legislative engagement, oversight, and policy advocacy in advancing the improvement of the lives of the people of Uganda, accountable governance, and the pursuit of respect for the rule of law in our country. It is compiled in line with various sector areas, and I would like to thank the shadow ministers who have played a key role in coming up with this document that comprises of their various topics. Allow me to officially declare this retreat open and to launch these opposition legislative priorities for the 12th Parliament. I wish you fruitful deliberations for God and my country. Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Leader of Opposition, for that insightful presentation. Next on the program, we shall have our director Ssenyonyi, who's the Leader of Opposition, come and make a presentation on the functions of the Office of the Leader of Opposition and the structure of the Office of the Leader of Opposition. Dr. Rose, you have spoken.
Thank you very much. Honorable Nabeshe, congratulations. Honorable Wiru, our cow, and our presenters. It gives me great pleasure to make this presentation. I always tell people we are for policy, not for politics. And one time, Honorable Cecilia once said, the late Honorable Cecilia once said, I will fertilize that policy with politics. So I will allow you to do that. Ours is a supportive role. We are your hands, we are your legs, sometimes we are your minds. My presentation will focus a lot on commitment. I would like to pledge our commitment to support you in everything that you do. I would like to say we are the food soldiers, we are the people in the kitchen. And colleagues, if we do not perform our task with excellence, then the Lord will be writing on water, as they say. I want to start with a story that I've been reading, a story about the late Dr. Matthew Nokia. It's been making rounds on social media, and I read it twice because it really ministered to me. I hope you learned something from this story. You could have come across it as well. Dr. Matthew was born to a peasant father. He was a fishermonger. Mine is a technical man, so he's come to give me some advice. He's come to give me some advice. Is it okay now, Annie? Okay. The mother thought she would become a smuggler too, but he ventured into academics even at a lower level, ending up as the best student in the national exams, and later joining Makerere University to study medicine. He later went back to Lacho Hospital as a doctor. He excelled in his internship and started working in that hospital. He worked so hard and got a scholarship to go to the United States and to go to UK to study the master's. He did so well that he scored the highest mark the university had ever got, and he was asked to stay as a lecturer. He said no and returned to rural Lacho Hospital. He later decided to undertake a master's degree in public health in Kampala, but while he was there, a strange disease broke out. And when he received this information, he decided to go back to Gulu. After some examinations and some research, it was discovered that it was Ebola, and he decided to fight Ebola. He fought Ebola so hard that at one point, all staff decided they wanted to quit because things were so hard. There were so many deaths. And doctor told them, if you quit, I will leave Gulu and I will never come back. There's a part of the story I forgot. During Konyi War, army men, soldiers came to abduct the nuns, Italian nuns who were in the hospital. And Dr. Nokia surrendered himself instead of the nuns. He ended up living in the bush for a whole week before he was released. They wanted to close the hospital, and Dr. Nokia pleaded with the abductees and the rebels, and they decided to never come back, and they did not come back. Fast forward, Ebola hit so hard, doctor got infected, went back to his home for about when it was so bad, they said, we need to take you to the hospital. They wanted to give him a VIP room. He said, no, I will stay where the rest of my nurses and medical staff have stayed and died. And indeed, Dr. Lukuya ended up dying. The nurse was there said he died singing victory songs. And he promised, when I go to heaven, I'm going to tell God that enough is enough. No one should ever die of Ebola again. That's amazing commitment that each one of us gives. We are here ready to serve you, but we need members of parliament who are responsive. So my call today is for both of us to work together to make law office great. A colleague of ours, Ali, once went to China, and he said he would meet Chinese, and many of the Chinese men would say, we are on our toes to make China great. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on our toes to make law office great. We have some challenges, especially in terms of staffing, but we are here with the Commissioner, Honorable Agugumbudde, who has been with us as Chief Opposition, and we hope he will support us. He knows our problems, so since it's in paradise, may you remember us when you are in paradise. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the picture there is a picture of Team Excellence, staff of the Office of the Leader of the Opposition. My presentation will have an introduction, a mandate, staffing functions, activities, and outputs of the office. This office was established in the 8th Parliament in the financial year 2016-17, established as a department. Before that, we were not a department. I want to tell you, we were just a division. The office performed very well, and during the time of Honorable Agugumbudde, he asked me to accompany him to the commission, and when we made a request for an office, the commissioners then, Honorable Regan of Kumo, Honorable Paul, said you needed it yesterday, and that's how this office came up. Our desire is to be a center of excellence that offers high quality services tailored towards satisfying clients and ensuring a pleasant experience. We will later roll out our policy analysis manual, which has a client form, a client feedback form. We are not able to, they were not printed on time, but we are going to give you an opportunity to make comments on our performance and areas of improvement. That is our leader of opposition, and he's there, and you two, the shadow cabinet, are there ready to keep government in check. Those are the parties we have. So what's the mandate of the office? We are there to give technical and administrative support to the leader of the opposition, to the chief whip, the party whips, the shadow cabinet, and all the opposition members. Honorable members, I would like to say we are all yours. Knock at our doors anytime. We have a staffing of 27, and that includes the drivers and the office support. I would like to say that our counterparts, Office of the Leader of Government Business, have 14 policy analysts. They have 14 liaison officers, Honorable Commissioner, and yet when you look at our burden, it's much heavier because they have a whole government machinery working for them, working on policy statements. But we have only this thin team to perform the activities that I'll be sharing with you. So, we are there to support your operations. We are there to facilitate the development of strategies and mechanisms for the achievement of programs and policies of the opposition. We are there to receive, assign, and track correspondences addressed to the leader of opposition, chief opposition whip, and opposition party whips. We facilitate oversight, monitoring, evaluation, and we review the use of resources allocated in various departments. I'll break this more clearly in the slides to follow. We facilitate networking with local authorities, civil society organizations, political parties, international organizations, and development partners in order to help the opposition in parliament meet its objectives. We facilitate shadow cabinet meetings by taking minutes, and also we help provide some mandazis. I hope you appreciate that. We facilitate research and preparation of alternative policies. We initiate or ease communication channels with the citizens and the outside world. And we also facilitate and support regional and international collaboration with respective governance institutions. So office activities, really breaking it down. Oversight visits, what do we do? Staff prepare information briefs, draft programs in consultation with the heads of the delegations. We coordinate visits and prepare accountability and oversight reports. I would not be happy to see any member of the opposition being queried for accountability. Where is your report? Whenever you travel with staff, they should be able to do this for you. I also want to lay emphasis on information briefs. Do not travel to these countries blindly. Members, staff on the delegation should be able to do briefs for you. Press conferences, Ali, I believe, has performed very well. In consultation with a member intending to address the press, staff prepare briefs, coordinate pressers, and post on social media handles of the office. We'll be happy to hear about our performance in this regard. Attendance of plenary and committees. Staff support the whips to track attendance and mobilize members to support positions agreed upon by the opposition. Chief Opposition Whip, I know that we are in the process of recruiting a staff member for you. He should be able to support you in tracking attendance, even in committees. There's a time we used to get attendance books from committees so that you're able to know whether members are attending or not, plenary attendance, and he should be able to analyze this information for you. In regard to attending delegation, staff liaise with the Department of Corporate and Public Affairs to offer protocol services, prepare meeting briefs, and rapporteur reports. International meetings in consultation with the Department of Corporate and Public Affairs. We should help you to apply for visas, reserve accommodation, prepare information briefs and speeches, and prepare delegation reports that is laid in the House, Rule 34. Sometimes handling booking is not very easy, especially if you're going for certain kinds of international meetings. They need visa cards. Sometimes it's .com. We have people capable of doing that. What are the office outputs? This is the most important part. Alternative policies. Policy analysts undertake research, synthesize evidence, study government policies, and develop policy alternatives that are laid in the House. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not an event. It is a process. If we are going to wait till about March, February to do our work, the work is not going to be holistic. We have to keep collecting data. Even as you go to the field and attend meetings, you should be collecting data, doing research really. So our policy analysts are there to help you in this. Informed debates. Like I said, we are sometimes your minds. I think we have the highest concentration of PhDs. Hello? Hello? We have at least 4 PhDs in this department, so why shouldn't we be the best? Staff should prepare information briefs for minority reports when required and guide members' presentations in committees and plenary, respectively. Statements. On request of the leader of the opposition and members, based on Rule 55 and Rule 56, staff prepare statements that are presented in plenary. Information-packed presentations, pregnant with meaning. Response to the state of the nation. In consultation with the leader of the opposition, staff undertake policy research and analysis. They offer drafting support and administrative support. Minority reports. Upon notification of the committee, members are facilitated to prepare reports detailing reasons of dissent from the majority report. Bill analysis. We are actually supposed to analyze every bill that is tabled on the floor of the House. Policy analysts should be able to scrutinize bills laid in the House and propose amendments for consideration by shadow cabinet and the shadow cabinet and ministers. I just want to make a comment here. We need to be proactive, and I want to speak to my colleagues. Let's be proactive. When these bills come, don't wait for the member to come and ask you to do an analysis. Do the analysis even before you are asked. Oral questions. This is a very, very, very important area. Staff undertake research, guide scoping of issues, and drafting of oral questions. I used to be a clerk assistant for over 10 years. This is a tool that brings in tangible results. I personally don't like issues of national importance because they are sometimes amorphous and sometimes they do not bring back tangible results. But with oral questions, you are able to task the minister, and the minister is able to give feedback. When you look at the United Kingdom, for example, a House of Commons, you can find 20,000 oral questions being asked. And I asked some staff from clerk's office and the like, and they say the number of oral questions have really, really gone down. This is a tool that you really need to put to use. Petitions. Staff are able to guide members so that petitions satisfy the criteria set in the rules of procedure. With support of opposition members, the public may raise petitions on matters of national importance. When I was a clerk, we handled a number of petitions. We would go to the field, do research, investigate, and report back to the House. This is again a very important tool for you, a tool that can bring in tangible results. Private members' bills. On request of members, staff guide members in scoping of areas of focus and coordinating requests for drafting services from the Department of Legislative Services. I cannot emphasize the importance of private members' bills. I want to thank you for listening to me, and again, I pledge on behalf of my colleagues to do all that we can. We will be on our toes to make sure that.
Thank you, Director Ruth. A big round of applause. That's not enough for the And without wasting time, I want to take this opportunity to invite our native speaker, who is the Honorable Namuga Goreti, going to present on the key duties and responsibility of our opposition member of parliament. Honorable Namugaino, she's one of us. She's just on the first sabbatical leave. So I will take this lead. I want to invite her to speak to us.
Good afternoon, honorable members. I'm very tired this early morning. Early morning and afternoon. Good afternoon once again. Honorable Namugai, former minister in the alternative government, former deputy chair, public accounts committee central. It's a great moment and pleasure to stand in front of you, honorable colleagues. Allow me to observe the protocol and thank the leader of opposition for giving me the opportunity to present before you. Honorable colleagues, allow me to congratulate you upon the 2026 elections. Everyone knows what you went through. It wasn't an easy one, but God is good that you made it. We are so proud of you and we are out there to support you in ensuring that you perform your functions. Now that we have the structure, as earlier discussed, we have the leader of opposition, we have the chief whip, we have the commissioner who knows all our problems. Hope he knows also your problems. And we have the director, that is the technical team that is supposed to support us in the execution of our mandate. Who else do we have? Is you, the members of parliament. We are the most important tool that the leader of opposition has to ensure that the opposition executes its mandate in the 12th parliament. Honorable colleagues, yes, the opposition has a lot to do in parliament, but it all begins with you. As a team, are we ready? This is a 5-year contract. It began on the day you were sworn in as a member of parliament of the area that you represent, meaning we already have a countdown on how many years you have, how many months, how many days, how many minutes, how many seconds in the 11th parliament. Therefore, it is incumbent upon you to prepare yourself adequately well to execute your mandate to the expectation, first of all, of the people that you do represent. Local, but also at a national level. A member of parliament is not a representative of only the area that voted for you, but also you are a national leader. So I'm here to make a presentation on the roles and responsibilities of a member of parliament in line with scrutinizing government policy, proposing evidence-based alternative policies and budgets, engaging in legislation, oversight and effective constituency representation. Honorable members, this comes at a time when the 12th parliament commences with so many significant challenges under economic, physical, and governance. We have challenges including the high public debt, corruption, increasing demand for better services, the susceptible position of parliament in the eyes of the public. We also have rampant human rights violation, the shrinking civic space, a very hostile political environment, and inefficient government institutions. The director has been here presenting how he has a very competent team. But remember, we don't have the support of government. How I wish if you can have anyone display this, I will use this one, will serve better because the font is not as... So somebody will move the slides. Kindly do it somewhere there. I'll move flow better when using this hard copy. So I've been talking about these inefficient government institutions, the climate change, rampant urbanization, and the escalating expectations from citizens. When you become a member of parliament for your respective area, people think their problems will be solved. So as you draw your program, by the way, if I am to ask, do we have a work plan at individual level? Please draw your own plan on how you should serve parliament and how you should serve your constituents. And let's have a habit of consulting each other. We know the attrition rate is so high, but honorable colleagues who have been here for some time, kindly help our members who have just come in. It is not easy to manage a post-election time. The expectations out there are so high to the extent that some of you are no longer going back to the constituencies. The day we are sworn in, your colleagues started looking for votes in your respective area. You see, so it's incumbent upon us to draw our own plan. Don't be moved by everyone. I know we are here on a Friday, the phone calls are so many. Somebody has died, we have a function, you are so divided. Kindly learn to manage your time. If you have such a reduction, give it time. Because we have a lot on our plate. It's incumbent upon you to manage yourself. Right Honorable Lord, the fact that we have a technical bench, should a member of parliament have a personal researcher? Should we have personal assistants? Advise us of the team that an MP should have with this consolidated salary. So is our research team or the technical team on the side of the leader of opposition adequate and enough to help these members of parliament to do research? That's for yourself. But remember, we also have other researchers within parliament. But are we helped? For the days you've been in parliament, how do you evaluate these technical teams that you are given? So the leader of opposition, you will advise the team on how they should manage themselves. And how should you relate with the office of the leader of opposition? By the way, the underperformance of the office of the leader of opposition 100% affects your coming back to parliament. So just know, if you work so hard to find the law, you will have failed yourself in the first place. This therefore requires the opposition members to display a high level of resilience, moral integrity, emotional intelligence, unyielding courage, calm adaptability under pressure, steadfast adherence to ethical standards, and the premise of the above. The role of the opposition becomes very critical at such a time when our communities are very. So, honorable members, you must know that the hope of the people of Uganda is within you, the opposition. You must be the voices in parliament. Now, what are the expectations of the communities of the opposition? The opposition is expected to do the following. Number one, safeguard constitutional governance and rule of law. And you know the challenge that we have as of recent in regard to the rule of law. Scrutinize executive decisions. Ensure proper allocation, expenditure, and value for taxpayers' money. Proper practical policy alternatives. Propose practical policy alternatives. Represent citizens whose voices may otherwise go unheard. And also prepare as a credible government in waiting. We are the alternative government. An effective opposition is therefore indispensable to what is left of our dwindling democracy. Honorable colleagues, you may agree with me that the democratic governance in this country, the civic space, is shrinking day and again. So it's incumbent upon us to execute our mandate as the opposition. During the process of offering these services as the opposition, normally people, one time I heard President Museveni say that he's going to ensure that the opposition also do their work. Just imagine now it's government to enforce the opposition in the execution of its mandate. You find yourselves, for example, government constructs a road in your area. Somebody says, that is not Yamira, that is government. Honorable members, the opposition does not have money. We have a single consolidated fund where the taxpayers' money is paid. So our duty is to ensure that government does its work. So whatever government does is our achievement as the opposition. So this also brings in the aspect of government programs. The parish development model. Why should you leave the NRM to brag around that those are NRM projects? They are not. So for me, I see people buy ambulances, do this. That is corporate social responsibility. Before you go in to buy ambulances, before you go in to use your own money to do government work, begin on your core of ensuring that government serves the people. And if I'm to ask, do all of you know the budgets of your local governments? As you get back, ask for the budget of your local government. Ask for their work plan, such that you start from there. As we demand for accountability at the national level, for you are there to cause accountability for the area that you do represent. Now they brought the road here, there is a road here. It is you should be telling the public that according to the work plan, this is what is supposed to be done for you. So as the opposition, we were there to ensure that that is done. We don't have money to execute government work. And whoever does it, that is no risk on our part. Because government has money. If one decided to put money in your constituency, can you survive? So let's learn to speak to government programs because the opposition has no money. Then the constitutional foundation of the opposition. You all know that Article 79 to 97 of the Constitution establishes Parliament and defines the powers of Parliament. Article 82 recognizes the office of the leader of opposition. We have the Administration of Parliament Act that provides for the institutional support of the opposition. The rules of procedure on how members should exercise their mandate. And the Political Parties and Organizations Act that describe how we should relate. Honorable colleagues, we all belong to different political parties. So as you are here, you must know that you are accountable to Ugandans, but also to your political party. So as you are in Parliament, don't forget getting back to your party headquarters. Because in any case, who do you report to? So we should make sure that we don't distance ourselves from our political parties. When we come here as the opposition, we must unite in our different political parties. But just know you have a home that you belong to. The opposition is therefore a constitutional institution and not a mere political grouping. It's not a favor that we are given money for this engagement. People must think that a deduction is within the favor of the office of the Speaker. Actually, the Speaker must do it because a good performance from the opposition is to the advantage of the Speaker. You see? So, Mr. Commissioner, sir, this is not a favor but a right. However, much as it is a right, kindly make use of it. No, you cannot know it all. Every day is a time of a new, we learn, we must learn to learn and relearn all the time. So I want to thank the Office of the Speaker through the leader of opposition for organizing this induction. Honorable colleagues, take it serious so that we can serve our people better. Therefore, it's the responsibility of the opposition to check mark government through ensuring accountability, transparency, and democratic governance. What does an effective opposition do? An effective opposition does not oppose for the sake of opposing.
Yes,
Practical alternatives to government by asking the following fundamental questions. One, is government doing the right thing? What should the government do? To you, the opposition, what should Mr. Museveni and his clique do? What are the responsibilities and roles of the serving government? We pay money as the NRM to execute its mandate to the people of the Republic of Uganda. Number two, is government doing things right? What must they do? And are they doing it the right way? As Uganda moves with the Namere across the country, are they doing it the right way? Good enough, the Vice President came out and told them, please, ultimately, advise them on how they should do their work. So as he moves around, cheaply politicking, you must also critique that. Please, as you do your work as a minister, make sure that you follow the law as you execute your mandate. Is government spending public resources wisely? As we do pay taxes in the consolidated fund, has government wisely used our money? Lastly, can government do better? If I'm to ask, why are you in the opposition? Why are you here? What entices you to be in the opposition but not in NRM? That is the very thing that pushes you to work so hard. Now, the four constitutional responsibilities of a member of Parliament. But before I read them out, for you, what did you come to do? As you sat down to, make a decision to contest as a member of Parliament, what were your desires? What did you tell your people? Before you look at these main ones, you must answer the questions of the people of Nyodemukungu. You must answer the questions of the people of Musoga. Why did the people of Musoga give you votes? In addition to that, you also embark on these ones. So, number one is oversight. You must hold government accountable for implementation and expenditure of government money. And this should be tailored to your local demands. Remember, politics is practical. As we talk about the issues at the national level, the people of Bugiri need to hear their member of parliament mention about their local affairs in parliament. So politics is both formal and informal. Cheap, how they call, what is the opposite of cheap? We must do both. So, honorable members, oversight is one of our roles. Number two, legislation. Improving on the bills and laws through debate and amendment. Representation, giving voice to citizens and linking parliament to your communities. Lastly is appropriation and budget scrutiny. But how do we link parliament to our communities? Honorable colleagues, we all have committees of parliament. Who takes a decision on the oversight plans of the committees of parliament? You have both the standing and sectoral committee. Committees visit many places. Why don't you highlight challenges in your area? Say that you also take a committee of government assurance to Bugiri or to Busoga to make, those reminders to government on what the promises that they made in Busoga. So you should also, be shrewd. The leader of opposition will not be there to direct you on everything to do. But as you sit in those committees, make sure that you also use your personal skills to make sure that you move those committees to your respective areas. We have colleagues here who got additional duties. You are a member of parliament, say, of the woman member of parliament of Mukono, but the Minister for Communications and Anti-Corruption. Any one of you who has added an additional duty, kindly know that you must provide more time to this parliament. You were shadow minister, you were chairperson of a committee, but you want to sleep for 8 hours. I'm telling you, it will be a very big disappointment to the country. And take charge of those positions. Make sure you give information to your colleagues. When we were engaging with, we were in campaign, and some of you asked, is it okay for us to go to bed? So please go there. In as far as you are, doing that check mark on how that minister should do his or her work. So, honorable colleagues, for you who have additional duties, kindly make sure that you provide more time in execution of your mandates. Now, there is a big difference between politics and parliamentary leadership. You have had the technical bench. For them, they are there to technically serve you. It is you to know when you should do politics and when you should do. You should be, technical work in as far as representing the people is concerned. So, campaign politics ends on a polling day. Parliament leadership begins immediately thereafter. And by the way, for some of you who are chairpersons of committees, politics and administration are two different things. You are chairperson of the committee, you have a very big team to manage. You have the technical bench, so we should see your leadership skills in that. And how do you link your committees to the office of the leader of opposition? There are some of us who can even spend a month without going to the office of the Lord. The Lord does not even know what happens in your ministry. Should he only see a surprise of you raising a matter on the floor? So kindly engage the leader of opposition. At times go for advice. Update him on your docket and attend the shadow cabinets, attend meetings and avoid coming late. How will you ask for accountability when you also cannot account for yourself? If one asks, every Tuesday we have shadow cabinet meetings. You don't attend, you're a shadow minister. So really, can you cause government to account when you are also yourself scattered? So, and whenever we are not available, learn the culture of giving, giving notices of absence to your whip. So I believe we shall do better if we take notice of some of those areas. So we must know as the opposition that we shall not be, our performance will not be judged by the number of rallies, burials, by the number of social media posts you make, by the number of television and radio appearances you make, but people will ask on how many hospitals have been improved, the roads that have been completed, the schools that have received funding, the wasteful expenditures that have been, you've stopped as the opposition, and which laws have you improved all the proposals that you've made in Parliament. A true measure of an MP in the normal times is impact, not publicity. It's not the number of years or decades you've spent in Parliament, but how impactful have you been, all are you, to the people that you do serve. Now, briefly, I'm going to go through the oversight as a role of a member of Parliament. This is one of our constitutional duty. And members, I should not just read this. You very much know that our core responsibility is to ensure that government executes its mandate. We should government every legislative agenda. We have budgets. We have charters of fiscal responsibility, many documents that are produced by government, and the commitments that are made by government. Our role is to ensure that government serves the people through committees of Parliament, through the shadow cabinet, through these field visits, through engagements with even other stakeholders like the civil society. Also, through engaging your local authorities, your local governments. Now, one should ask, honorable members, if we have committees of Parliament, are we convinced that these committees have performed up to the expectations of the public? They normally say when we engage in meetings, the public is excited. They have found this, they have done this. What happens after? There is slow implementation of parliamentary recommendations. The last time from the Auditor General's report, for the last 5 years, implementation of parliamentary recommendations was at 30%. So that means there is no value for money. We shout and talk much, but very, very, very few recommendations are implemented. What does this mean? The Office of the Leader of Opposition should make a wake-up call to government in ensuring that they implement the parliamentary recommendations in regard to the performance of accountability committees. Number two, honorable members, when we go to these committees, do we have time to focus as members of the same committee? Or we just find ourselves in a committee? Let's have that culture. First of all, we are very few, but how do we make use of the little resource that we have? Have a time, you are all members of the budget committee. Will you find yourselves in a meeting? You've never had time to focus. So kindly, have time to speak to each other as members of the opposition. In any case, we are not here as competitors. You see? So complement each other where necessary. Go equipped in committees. Serious big discussions, serious legislation takes place in committees even than the floor of Parliament. Because in committees you have adequate time. So make use of the committees. We have accountability committees that we chair as the opposition. Those are the 4 committees: Public Accounts Committee, Central, Local Government, Government Assurance, and the COSASI. But if one asks for you members who are on these accountability committees, how often do you go for these meetings? These are your committees, but you also don't attend. So, these are strong tools. Honorable colleagues, your return to Parliament is measured by some of these. Zaki's performance is a contribution to the opposition, and some people will vote you because of Zaki. You will be voted in because of the performance of Ssenyonyi. So everyone's performance in Parliament contributes to my coming back to Parliament. So kindly take charge. Take charge if we are to really get much from these committees. Now, the sectoral committees that are in charge of policy. Honorable Lord, I have a proposal of the Office of Leader of Opposition of ensuring that there is a linkage between the committees of accountability, those are the standing committees, and the sectoral committees. During the time of processing the Auditor General's report, the chairpersons of the sectoral committees should be part of these accountability committees during the time when we are processing the Auditor General's report, say for the Ministry of Health. Because it will help you know where the challenges are. Remember, these are 2 things. You have the time of budgeting, you have the time of implementation. The Auditor General's report scrutinizes implementation. So if you are the other side of health, where you don't know where the challenges of health are, actually for you, the opposition, your major role is to see where the problems of government are. If you cannot bring out these problems clearly, then that means that Museveni's government is so good. So as we are in the sectoral committees doing the planning and policy, when you attend these accountability committees for your sectoral committee, it will be easier for you to make proposals during the time of processing of the budgets for the subsequent financial year. but you find a ministry that has failed, for example, to absorb its budget. It has so many projects that have been, awarded, commenced, but they are incomplete. But you are in the Committee of Health bringing new proposals. Why don't you fight for completion of the other projects? So kindly pick interest. Make sure you get the Auditor General's report for your relevant committee. If you are in the Committee of ICT, get the Auditor General's report of that ministry, so that you can critique it very well. So that linkage is missing. And number two, Right Honorable Law. If the committees on public accounts process, for example, the consolidated report of the Auditor General that shows how public expenditure has been for all the agencies, ministries, and departments of government, when does this feed into the budgeting process of the subsequent budget year? We have always complained about unrealistic budgets. But the Auditor General's report is presented on the floor, nothing is picked from it. You find a ballooned budget in the subsequent year of 87 trillion, when the performance in the previous year was very low. There is a very big deficit. So demand for this. Otherwise, the challenge of Uganda is the unrealistic budget that cannot speak to the concerns of the people and does not resonate. There is a very big difference between government revenue and expenditure. So kindly beg for that. We need to have a clear relationship between these accountability committee reports and how they inform decisions of government in the subsequent financial years. I was giving an example here of how, for example, the practice. Government budgets for Uganda shillings 15 billion to construct a district hospital. A field inspection shows that only 40% of works have been completed. The contractor already paid 85%. In other words, a difference between physical performance and financial performance. You are 40% but paid 85% of the monies. But also to remind you that these reports are divided into, for example, you have financial reports, you have value for money reports, you will have special reports. Then we had a consolidated report special on the staffing of government, on performance of PDM, all those others. So these should be treated differently. And if they lay them on the floor of Parliament, big interest in them. People have gotten parish government more money, but with a lot of challenges. So don't allow these NRM colleagues of ours to brag with the parish government money as if it is money from somebody's pocket. So also learn on how to make a follow-up and see how best these systems can fit into each other. Honorable colleagues, the reason as why I've spent much time on these accountability committees, this is one of the biggest platforms that we have as the opposition to bring out the challenges of performance and implementation of government programs. Because we have seen a very big gap between budgets. What has government promised to do? What has it done? Implemented, non-implemented. You will go to your districts. The budget was as big as those so many billions. Now it comes to implementation. And so it has been done. Why do we have incomplete projects in your constituency? Have you made a follow-up? In any case, have you looked through the development plan? Honorable Loko, I have a request. If the technical team can help the MPs look through the National Development Plan to see how many proposals has government made in relation to what is supposed to be done in your area. Otherwise, they will not operate, they will not implement what you think, but when it's not in the development plan. So kindly help us to see what is the development plan of government, so that you can see where to begin from. Also, make analysis of development plan 3. There are activities or projects that were in development plan 3 for 5 years, but they were not brought back into the national development plan 4. New projects were brought on board. Also, look, let us learn to have a culture of bringing out these government projects that have stalled for so many years. You have staff units in Imbaraga that have been under construction for 10 years, very incomplete. But during the times of budget, government brings new projects on board. We should enforce and tell them first finish and complete what they started. It's not about whether it is in Impiji or in Zimbabwe. You are a national leader. Let us see Ujiri bring out issues of Mbadala, bring out issues of Karamoja. That's what makes you a national leader. So we should make sure that we enforce implementation of these government programs and reminding government that the people of Uganda need to be served better. The practical oversight tips for MPs. Develop a habit of asking these questions. What was planned? What was budgeted? What was released? What was spent? What outputs were delivered? Why is there a variance? And who is accountable? Avoid asking political questions only. But politics all the time. It becomes very boring. Only pursue evidence, accountability, based solutions. Now, honorable colleagues, as we do this, I just referred you to the rules of procedure. Look into, for example, I've written them there, Rule 163 when it comes to committees of parliament. Rule 166 when it comes to general functions of standing committees. We are here, but you might not even know the difference between a standing and sectoral committee. Take time to read them. And by the way, it's not a must that you should know all the rules. You cannot be an all-rounder. You stick to the areas that are within your interest. You cannot be everywhere as an MP. But make sure for this sectoral standing, please master the game. What does the standing committee do? What does the sectoral committee do? Such that you don't misfire somewhere, you'll be seen as if you don't know what to do as an MP. Now, representation. Honorable colleagues, we are here because we are voted by our respective constituencies. Representation, speak for the people who voted for you. Bring out local challenges to the national level. Voice citizen grievances, human rights concerns and public interest issues on the parliamentary floor. Through matters of urgent public importance, the director was telling you that, some of these ones don't bring immediate solutions. But at times, for you, your role is to bring them out. Whether they've acted on them or not, that is their business. But just imagine you get a serious challenge of, say, a heavy downpour in Agugumbudde. The school is, is put down. Then somebody says, you should not bring that on the floor. Because, that is the only platform that you have. So, director, the matters of national importance are good because they are so, they are immediate solutions to our people. When somebody sees the Naptawe, you are speaking about a school that was damaged by the rain, people will feel, represented. So at times, madam, that is politics at play. So bring the matters, no problem. Questions to ministers and motions. Now, for me, on the questions to ministers, our technical bench kindly draft these questions and give them to the respective ministers. I know they must read, but for you, you are 100% seated on those desks to serve us. So if you see an area in education that should be covered, call the Shadow Minister of Education. Give them these questions to have them raised. Otherwise, the pressure in politics is simply too much. At times, you even fail to read, not because you don't want to read, but the pressure politically is simply too much. So kindly help the members of parliament. When they don't come to you, at times you also go to them. You are not a stone stuck somewhere, you're not a brick. So also move to them as you also want them to move to you. That is the only, it is something that is very practical. It works. Pump those so many questions. Give them, they sign the questions, go. No one will know who has written it, my dear. It's a matter of having the questions asked, you say. So whoever has written it, that is not a concern. But our issue is to have it raised. These petitions, the petitions is also another platform. But there are these motions with or without notice. Honorable colleagues, we cannot run the parliamentary business or process and how to do business within just these few months. Director, my kind request is, as we also evaluate what you do, also evaluate the MPs. If we realize that somebody needs to be helped, call them. Honorable, you are doing very well, but if you did this here, it can do better. What stops you from calling them? Because I cannot assess and evaluate myself. So we appreciate, we know you are constrained by numbers, but we are also constrained by numbers too. It's a team of around 60, opposition we are around 68, versus 500 something. So madam, we are also very few, as you are few. So stick to the knitting and advise the MPs on how to do their work technically. Because for them, the politics is much, but I'm mindful of the time. They are telling me 2 minutes to get done, but I think I should. Then appropriation. Honorable colleagues, the reason as why we exist is money, budgets. If you look into the financial 26-27, where do you see yourself? Where are you? Where where you, as the Muhono, as Wakiso, where do you mirror yourself in the budget? If you are not there, find ways of, causing alarm. And for these projects, land speaking to them. Speak to what is supposed to be done by government. That's the only way they will do it. Because remember, it's not that all the activities that are put in the budget are implemented. Not. They will have a lot, but implementation is at times very low. So make sure you master and follow up on government budgets. But this is also done through minority reports in our subsequent committees. The alternative budget now, our Shadow Minister for Finance. Honorable Locke, I have a request. The Shadow Minister for Finance should also help us summarize some of these things, because that is your docket. You have a very big ministry, highly funded, so make sure that you feed us with the give us the information that is required from that ministry. But this also applies to you, the ministers of different, feed your colleagues. You are a minister for energy. What is expected of you? Give us the details of how much will be done within your docket. So be practical. Tell your colleagues, for you, this is what government plans to do in your area. That is how you will be respected by ministers. Avoid having a title that you cannot put to proper use. Otherwise, you will be a shadow forever. Scrutinizing government policy and performance. So, honorable colleagues, with that, review sector-specific ministerial policy statements, identify implementation gaps, and utilize the Auditor General's report. Now, honorable colleagues, speak interest in the following documents. Number one, the National Population and Housing Census Report 2024. Customize it to suit your area. Now, Director, we also task you to ensure that you look through this plan and update the members where necessary. The National Census Report shows the specifics. It is very bad for you to be here when you don't even know the population of your area. You cannot even know how much in terms of electricity that has been extended to your area. You don't know how many schools, private and governments that you have. Then how can you represent people whose problems you don't know? So go in the census, you will know what falls where. The National Development Plan, the NRM Manifesto. Please get their manifesto and see their lies. You will not assess and checkmark the thing that you don't know what they are meant to do. The annual budget, the chart of fiscal responsibility, the treasury memoranda, the performance report for the previous year, the statement of multi-year commitments. You have all those details. You pick interest and read. Madam Director, you can also make us a summary of what government has failed to do in the previous years through these multi-sector reports. What have they done? Even the legacy report. We have a legacy report for the 11th Parliament. Madam, summarize it for us. Are we asking for too much? Are we asking for too much?
We are up to the task.
Good. So, honorable colleagues, aware that my time is getting completed, allow me proposing evidence-based alternatives that we've seen, engaging through parliamentary tools we've seen. But, Honorable Locke, with all this done, we know the Member of Parliament are very committed in doing all this. But representing constituents and action plan, I felt this is important. Translate debates back to the specific needs of your local voters. You are in the 11th Parliament, we want to see you in the 13th Parliament. The attrition rate is high, but make sure you come back. So make sure you give feedback to the people in line to what has been discussed in Parliament. Establish a clear feedback loop to report parliamentary actions direct to your constituents. That's why I asked, do you have a plan, personal, on how we should give feedback to your constituents? Close with concise summary checklist to provide legislative engagements. So, honorable colleagues, much as we want to do all that, we have so many challenges. The numerical inferiority, we are very few, but we can do much. It's not about the numbers, but how you commit yourself to using the numbers that you do have. Law implementation of parliamentary resolutions and recommendations, conduct of the presiding officers. Right, Honorable Locke, much can be done and said, but the conduct of the presiding officer in that house is very alarming. Members are not given time. You know, some of the officers become clearing houses. We shall wallop and swallow the opposition. I don't know to what extent. So all those real statements, are very, from the presiding officer, they demoralize the opposition. So the presiding officer should know that he or she should be a neutral arbiter. Is not there to favor us, no. The Honorable Taiwa and his colleague must know that they must give us time on that floor to discuss. And if they refuse, demand for it. If you stand so many times and the guy doesn't give you opportunity, go to the microphone, pick it. You will know that you're going to represent the people. Otherwise, at times where peace fails, force applies, grab the microphone and tell him, I came here to represent the people of Bukomansimbi. As simple as that. Internal resources and pressure. Honorable colleagues, this internal fragmentation within the opposition, the infights are too much. You find, yes, we are divided by the regime, but also as we get here, the UPC feels they should move their own agenda, the DP has their own agenda. When we come to the opposition, let's see how we can unite and serve our people better. At the end of the day, we are in government in waiting. We have nothing to fight for. The group has no resources for government. We have no consolidated funding. So that means let us unite on these small facts that can bring us together. Way forward, honorable colleagues, we need to have strategic oversight, especially in the area of capacity building. We appreciate this engagement, but Madam Director, whenever you realize that there is a gap, do it as soon as you can. Our contract is 5 years, so we shall not be added more time because your team slept on the job. So make sure you feed us and timely. We need to have an intense budget scrutiny, institutional training, defending committee leadership. Honorable leader of opposition, we should be given a conducive environment. Members should be given a conducive environment to work and the resources. But also for the chairpersons. For me, I hate this tendency of members coming to the chairperson to beg for trips. It looks very funny. We should have a clear system on how we should balance team, on how they should travel inland and abroad. One time I was surprised by the office of the leader of opposition. I just got a phone call, Honorable, bring your passport. That's the way what things to be done. This informal way of doing things. People should not come and kneel and beg for trips. It is very I can't do it is. You want to unlock this sentence of people have gone for oversight internal, you want to be given allowances. Honorable members, it's very bad for you to pick an allowance that you've not worked for. So lastly, as I summarize, I'll read this. While the opposition is supposed to hold government in check under the constitution and the practice of multi-party politics, and as it struggles to regain its political space, a combination of international, regional, and local realities makes this harder in Uganda today. We should therefore discuss these realities so we can understand and find alternative ways of creating a conducive environment that enables the opposition to execute their mandate in the interest of serving people better. The Bible teaches us that leaders and managers who misuse their power face severe judgment, including warnings regarding, for example, in Ezekiel 34, shepherds feeding themselves. Abasumba beri sabuka. Mr. Commissioner, sir, you should not be a shepherd that feeds himself. So we have also Jeremiah 23, a scattered flock. Please make use of the office of the leader of opposition and support him. It's your duty. And support each other. Then Matthew 24, a wicked servant. So make sure you are not any of those. God holds corrupt leaders accountable for exploiting those under care, thus calling for servanthood, stewardship, and justice. Honorable colleagues, being a member of parliament is not a job, but it's a duty and a call for service to the people that we do represent. For God and my country, that ends the presentation. I want to thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Namuka, for the insightful presentation. And while I'm very mindful of time, I will not make any comment on that, only to remind you that we occupy public spaces. Without wasting time, I want to invite Honorable Jonathan Odul to come make a presentation of the role of the shadow cabinet. For those who don't know, Honorable Jonathan Odul is one of our senior, very accomplished, and he left a mark in the Parliament of Uganda.
Thank you, Chief Opposition Whip, for that warm remarks. The leader of the opposition in Parliament, honorable members of Parliament who are present here, Madam Director in the Office of the Law, and all the staff of Parliament, our friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I am going to find a lot of difficulties presenting to you after my sister, the Honorable Goreth Namuga, doing a great job presenting to us, and I think she has lifted a big weight off my shoulders. So I want us to thank her again for making this good presentation. Before I present, I want to congratulate all of you, members of Parliament, who were re-elected and elected to the 12th Parliament. You must have gone through a lot, and to make it to Parliament, the 12th Parliament, it's a very big achievement, especially for those coming for the first time. So I warmly congratulate you and wish you all the best you can do to represent your different constituencies in the 12th Parliament. I take this opportunity to thank the Leader of the Opposition and the Office of the Director, the Leader of the Opposition's Office, for according me this opportunity to come and make a presentation on the role, the mandate and role of Shadow Cabinet in this retreat of the members of the opposition. I have been struggling with protocol, but if my data is accurate, we should be having 6 political parties that are representing us in Parliament. The National Unity Platform, the Uganda People's Congress, Forum for Democratic Change, the Democratic Party, PFF, and ANT. So I would like the representatives who are here, 7, there's one I'm missing? Okay. I would like the representatives who are here to collectively take back our appreciation to those political parties. When you offered yourself to contest on the platform of the opposition, you wanted to take power. That was the primary aim. But things didn't work out, and you found yourself on the side of the opposition. I'm making these remarks because there are people who believe that we who are seated here as the opposition, we go into elections choosing to be members of the opposition. That's not true. That's not true. It's only the circumstance that bring us there. So I hope the presentation can be put up. Okay, as I wait for it, as you have been told, I was in Parliament for 10 years, in the 10th and the 11th Parliament. I've been a Shadow Minister for Public Service and Presidency under the leadership of the Honorable Betty Aolojan, who was our law. I have been a Shadow Minister for Defense and Veteran Affairs under the leadership of Honorable Matthias Mpuga, who was the law. And I have been the Shadow Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs under the able leadership of the Honorable Lord Joel Ssenyonyi. So I want to make this presentation a bit interactive. I want to interact with you. My task is to take you through the mandate and the role of the Shadow Cabinet. And I'll ask only one question. I would like 5 volunteers to tell me what comes to your mind. Just one word that comes to your mind when you hear the word mandate. Once you hear mandate, what comes to your mind? Just 5. And after that, I won't ask another question. Just 5 volunteers. Honorable Caps is 1. Maybe we'll need a microphone. there's a microphone. Can you pass? So one, Wakiso in your area, and then from Acholi, yes, my brother. I wanted five. So we have 3, 2 more volunteers. Okay, I want to one Oka is here. You can use 2, but anyone who wants, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Fungaro Caps Hassan, MP Ubongi constituency. Mandate means authorize things for you to do, what you are empowered to do, what you are required by law, by policy to do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Presenter. To me, mandate is where you are driving your powers to any assignment or to do anything. So it's about power.
It's about power. Thank you. And you can feel free to sit if you wish. You don't need to stand up. Next, we are here. Oh, Honorable Zaka.
Mandate to do something.
Yes.
That is permission to do anything.
Permission to do anything. Yes. Honorable Kido.
LP Aswad County.
Aswad, yes.
Mandate to me signifies a command.
A command
that has been delegated.
Okay,
by
good.
Some kind of law.
Good.
Some kind of authority. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, next to you. Your name and then we go behind.
I think I'm cannot give me. I think like your obligation.
Obligation. Thank you. Then we have Muhoozi. And we shall end there.
Mandate is a duty responsibility that you cannot assign to another person.
Okay, thank you. So you have made my job very easy. We now can go to the next slide. So you can see from all your presentations, all the suggestions, you can see yourselves there. Somebody mentions about laws. Somebody mentioned about authority, about power, about command, about order, and earlier the leader of the opposition had told us about leadership. So throughout this presentation, I want to demonstrate and we see ourselves in those 5 or 6 areas. If you talk about the law, there must be a reference somewhere. It's written somewhere. If you are talking about authority, is it institutional authority? Since you are a member of the shadow cabinet, what is that institution that allows shadow cabinet to exist? If it is about command, who is commanding you? If it is about order, if it is about leadership, who is leading you? This question, which I will address, will help you to resolve some of the issues that come out in Parliament many times, and I will make reference to those. So let's look at the law now. Next slide here, which you are all familiar with, very familiar with. So where is the mandate of the shadow cabinet? You cannot talk about shadow cabinet when you don't know what is a shadow cabinet. There must be a law establishing it, there must be some authority, there must be some power, there must be some leadership in that. So when you look at this definition, which is found in Rule 2 and Rule 15 of your Rules of Procedure of Parliament, it tells us that the shadow cabinet are members of the opposition in Parliament. So can someone who is not a member of the opposition be appointed to shadow cabinet? No. So that is the first ingredient. You must be a member of the opposition. Appointed by who? By the leader of the opposition. That is now the power. So nobody else can appoint a member of shadow cabinet other than the leader of the opposition. Where do the leaders of the opposition find that power? They also derive it from somewhere else. It is stated there. So it says, in consultation with his or her political party. So you are now seeing the chain of command. You are seeing the chain of authority. You are seeing the chain of leadership. His or her her political party. Meaning that the leader of the opposition cannot appoint you, cannot give you that mandate of shadow cabinet without permission or authority from his or her leader. And who is that? Who is that party? We shall see that shortly. And then the functions and powers are given there. It must correspond to that in cabinet. Later we shall see shortly. So throughout, we are looking at the law, we are looking at the authority, we are looking at the power, we are looking at the command. Now let's go and see who is a member. We take it for granted, I'm a member of parliament, we are members of parliament, we are members of the opposition. But who is a member of parliament? Again, you are ruled. The rules of parliament tell us. It tells us that a member means a member of parliament. Honorable Gore, and I think the chief opposition whip did a good job in citing these pieces of legislation in the constitution. So my work is now to show you the different power centers, the different authorities that makes you a member of parliament. Let's start from the national objectives and direct principles of state policy. I have picked one, the one on political objectives. If you read it, that's where your source as a member of shadow cabinet, your mandate starts. You go to Article 1 of the Constitution, which says power belongs to the people. Meaning that the mandate of the shadow cabinet, even when you are in parliament, it traces backwards to the people. And how do people give you power? Because they elected you. You went to them, many people went to them, but it is you that they handed that instrument of power. Of course, Honorable Gore told us that there are power centers also that has interfered, can also install members of parliament. That is another matter. But if we are working in a clear democracy, it is the will of the people that should put you there. And some of you are in parliament because your people stood firm. They decided that our power cannot be taken away from us. We want this person to represent us. We are giving that power through elections, and that's how you have ended up in parliament. I will point out Article 69, for example, and clause 2 of that article, which is about the political system, multi-party democracy. So for you to be a member of the opposition, it presupposes there is a system which allows for and against, and that is the multi-party politics that we are in. It is by choice. So your mandate is back because the law allows for multi-party politics. I will not belabor a lot under 97, Article 97, which is about your privileges. Use those privileges very well. You may not appreciate, but parliament is feared all over the world, even here in Uganda. Don't let somebody deceive you. Parliament is feared a lot because parliament can do many things. You know what parliament do? Parliament can remove a president. Parliament can remove a president. So when a president is seated somewhere, it can change, and you go. I want you to pay attention to traditional security.
Bebamu kubajja okulemesa enkulaakulana.
Gokimanyi ne bw'oli mugamba babbalamu abasinga tebabba si be babba bokka.
Mbadde nkusaba omwami ono ali mu kwogera bambi omwaganya obwogera oli avuddeko sooka oba omumutingemu ayige kye bayita okuwuliziganya. Tetuli kabaata twogeriziganye. Omwami oyo alina kyayogera bambi oli amaze
ekyo kituufu.
Tebogenda maaso.
Badde ngamba nti taata ng'oyogera by'oyogera njagala obeeko n'ebintu by'omanya. ebintu nga tebannasiba wuwo bw'oyogera ebyo by'oliko ebyokwogera. Njagala tubeere realistic. Omuntu nga mukono inze penge njogeza mazima mama wange Rwanda so agenda Rwanda tulina yamaka simalayo wiki nze simalayo wiki Rwanda jamwatenda nga ate mukama mulungi kay batuukeko mwawana wanange ebintu simamu wana Rwanda obafwe baliko bumanyi omanye emberaze balimu naye ebintu byemuli mu kwogera nga tekinatuuka kuwo basibya abantu omuntu ne bamusiba myaka 25 tawozanga kutakolanga ki you get ate kankuleko nekirala penge ne wena bali ku mukutu okimanyi nti ne bana babbalambe bali mukwata abantu abasinga ekisinga okunnuma bali mukwata nkoko munoonya abawe enkoko ebyokulya abanene bali waggulu temubakwatako ne muli mugenda batono ate bwe mukwata kubamu abana ne bakuba amasimu ne mujjayo abapiero iyo binyini bakuba amasimu ne musumulula abantu guys twatogera ebintu kati nga bya serious tubere serious ebituufu biri bwebiti ajja mukama namba waamu gwe tojja kuddayo Uganda nze mbikugamba ebigambo
muganda wange gwe kyotategedde Bobi Wine is the best president ever. Naye tajja funa kakisa kafuga kati tugenda n'oli addako Bobi Wine mulungi naye akakisa
Penge tubulire engero omusajja gy'osobola Bobi Wine gyejasobola ogenda ku mugugu. You should also give us your submission tukuwulizeko tulabe.
Omusajja oli ani amukiriza okuddamu oli?
Avuddeko.
Ako ku kitiibwa.
Avuddeko.
Obadde obuuza ki ssebo?
Tuwe ku submission yo tulubulire engeri gy'olowooza nti Bobi Wine agenda kutufugamu like agenda kwesa resources sizola nti ayinza otufuga.
Aha, kati kankubuulire nzira mwami ani truth.
Yeah.
Kati muganda wange nze natandika okuwagira ebintu by'obufuzi kuva kawanga simwogerere. Tebe nali omusajja wa DP. Nentambula olugendo nendaba ekisiikirize nga aliwo omusajja ze n'akatiba akalala bonna basse baggala mbalabe babeesigye mbalabe era nze nnondako wani gwengoberera mpaka kati ani oyo ali mu kufukama mu meeting
Rasta.
Nedda.
abadde Rasta abadde mulala kakati taata nze ngoberera abantu ab'enjawulo nga bayina oba basiiga ekifaananyi kyebagala kukyusa bukulembeze tibagoberedde nti basobola naye mbagoberedde olw'ensonga nti nno bayina omulango ogubakaabya gwenzikiririzaamu omuntu yenna nga neesimbawo ku kifo abaako ekintu kyagamba abatuuze nti nze bonnonda nja kukola kino mba n'ebigendererwa naye ebigendererwa ebyo nga bidraftinze okusinziira ku biki ebitatuukiridde timanyi oba mpulira
nkuwulira ssebo.
Yes ssebo kati gwe fokasi yo oli mugiraba ku Bobi Wine ondaga nti n'ebyobufuzi bya Uganda birabira ku Bobi Wine yekka bibaddewo